All right, folks, late last night, Donald Trump went on another one of his midnight rants, and this time it was about the Jeffrey Epstein story, the bombshell that the Wall Street Journal published yesterday. This guy, Trump, is in full-blown panic mode right now. He is furious over this reporting, and he's taking it out on social media, but he just simply can't run away from the story. It's only getting deeper by the day, and his relationship with Epstein is so established at this point that he can't even lie and say like, oh, I didn't really know the guy. He was best friends with him for so long, and he continues to make the situation worse. So I want to show you some of these statements that Trump put out on Truth Social last night, but just as a very brief, quick reminder, this is what the Wall Street Journal published yesterday. Jeffrey Epstein's friends sent him bawdy letters for a 50th birthday album. One of them was from Donald Trump. The letter bearing Trump's name, which was reviewed by the Journal, is bawdy like others in the album. It contains several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with a heavy marker. A pair of small arcs denotes the woman's breasts, and the future president's signature is squiggly, Donald, below her waist, mimicking pubic hair. And this is the interaction, or I should say the text that Donald Trump put in. He wrote this imaginary conversation inside of the woman, written in the third person, and there's some really creepy lines. It's between him and Epstein. He says, there must be more to life than having everything. Donald, yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Jeffrey, nor will I, since I also know what it is. We have certain things in common, Jeffrey, said Donald, which is incredibly gross in hindsight. Jeffrey, yes, we do. Come to think of it, enigmas never aged. Have you noticed that, said Donald. As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you, said Jeffrey. And finally, a pal's a wonderful thing. Happy birthday. And may every day be another wonderful secret. All of this, very gross, very creepy, and it has truly sent Donald Trump into a spiral. As we talked about yesterday on this channel, he put out this statement late last night threatening to sue the Wall Street Journal. We covered that in a separate video, but this is one of the newer statements that Donald Trump put out late last night. 9:57 p.m., he was still ranting about the Wall Street Journal, and this is what he wrote on Truth Social. Quote, "The Wall Street Journal printed a fake letter supposedly to Epstein. These are not my words, not the way I talk. Also, I don't draw pictures. I told Rupert Murdoch it was a scam, that he shouldn't print this fake story, but he did, and now I'm going to sue his ass off and that of his third-rate newspaper. Thanks for your attention to this matter, DJT." So the argument that Donald Trump is using against this letter is already taking shape. He's claiming that it's fake, that those are not his words, it's not how he speaks, he doesn't draw pictures, and his overall argument is that it's fraudulent. The letter is fake. But people have dug up a lot on Donald Trump with this excuse that he's running with. I mean, for example, one of Donald Trump's friends, Robert Klein, an accounting major who sat next to him in his accounting class, took note of Donald Trump's doodles in college. He would doodle a lot. He would draw. So Donald Trump's claim is, I don't draw, except one of his best friends or somebody he sat next to in class would notice how he drew. This is from momentmag.com, Growing Up Trump, and the exact quote is the one that we just read. One of his friends, Robert Klein, sat next to him, took note of Trump's doodles that he would often develop or draw, I should say, buildings, skyscrapers, and things like that. And that's also consistent with other things that we've seen from Donald Trump. It's also important to note that he himself has admitted in books recently, in this Never Give Up book that I guess he wrote, in this paragraph, he writes, "It takes me a few minutes to draw something. In my case, it's usually a building or a cityscape of skyscrapers and then sign my name, but it raises thousands of dollars to help the hungry in New York," according to Donald Trump. So that's he himself, or maybe a ghostwriter at least, acknowledging that he draws quite frequently, and that signature that is allegedly on the woman's lower half, as we saw from the Wall Street Journal down here, is something that he himself also admitted, that he puts his signature on his drawings. Here's another one. This is from Adam Kinzinger, former representative, showing all of these different drawings that Donald Trump has put out over the years, often city skyscrapes that he has himself acknowledged that he likes drawing, and there's his signature at the bottom there as well. So there are so many different examples of Donald Trump enjoying drawing, and his argument that, oh, I don't draw, is completely contradicted by not only people who know him, but also himself in his own books and his own drawings. And it's also important to note that one of the arguments he's using is, I don't talk like this. I don't make gross comments like that about women. But Here's a video from a recent deposition that Donald Trump did in the past few years, back in 2022, where he defended his Hollywood Access tape, the whole grab him by the blank. You know that video. We've all heard it by now. Here's him defending that comment in 2022.
And you say, and again, this has become very famous in this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the pussy?
Well, if you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
Unfortunately or fortunately to Donald Trump, that crude language. But according to him, those are not my words, not the way I talk. It is absolutely the way that Donald Trump talks. Him being creepy is perfectly in line with who Donald Trump is. And this whole I don't draw pictures contradicted over and over and over again. But I want to move on. Here's another statement that Donald Trump put out late last night. This one was before the last one at 9:07 p.m. He said, again, attacking the Wall Street Journal, based on the ridiculous amount of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein, I've asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. This scam perpetuated by Democrats should end right now. And then Pam Bondi hopped on the train as well, saying, Trump, we are ready to move the court tomorrow to unseal the grand jury transcript. So this is a panic move from Donald Trump. He recognizes that his party is fractured. He has all these different eyes on him from people that support him, people who don't support him, who are looking at this, and they're very suspicious, rightfully so. He's firing prosecutors who handled the Epstein-Maxwell case. He's hiding these documents. He's not answering questions. We have this explosive letter. He knows how bad this looks for him. So he's trying to do this panic move where, okay, we're going to unseal some of the grand jury transcripts. Here's the thing. There's a catch with this, and this has been pointed out by a number of people, including Democratic Representative Dan Goldman. He responded to this news by saying, nice try, Pam Bondi. What about videos, photographs, and other recordings? What about FBI 302s, which are witness interviews? What about texts and emails? That's where the evidence about Trump and others will be. Grand jury testimony will only relate to Epstein and Maxwell. So Trump is trying to release documents that have no connection to him or any other wealthy person that might have been affiliated with Epstein. These documents will only apply to Epstein himself. And it's also important to note that it's incredibly unlikely that Donald Trump actually manages to get these documents released. Kyle Cheney, who is a court reporter for Politico, pointed out that it's just unlikely that courts will grant Donald Trump's request to have these transcripts unsealed. He said on Twitter yesterday, Trump's call to release pertinent Epstein grand jury info represents only a portion of the evidence that would make up the so-called Epstein files, and it's the portion that has the most obstacles to release, given strict grand jury secrecy rules courts are reluctant to lift. A lot of misreporting already suggesting Pam Bondi will release something or that the court will do something tomorrow, as in today. And we all know the DOJ can make that request tomorrow, but we may see nothing for quite a while, if at all. Notably, what Trump's order to Bondi suggests is that until today, the Attorney General was not authorized to ask the court to consider releasing Epstein grand jury material, a process that could have been in motion a long time ago. So not only does this only account for maybe 1% to 2% of all the documents in regards to Epstein, but it's incredibly unlikely that it's going to come out. And they haven't even tried to release it before. This whole thing that Donald Trump is doing, this unhinged rant, this unhinged request, this last minute Hail Mary, is a complete sham, as is everything else with Donald Trump. So I truly believe that all of the walls surrounding Donald Trump with this whole Epstein thing are really crumbling before our eyes. He has his own party, his own base, his own fans turning on him. He is being admonished in public for the secrecy, the weirdness surrounding these documents. And I think it's only going to get worse from here. But I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Drop a like on the video, comment. Let me know what you think about this story. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.